Joplin historian talks about the city's history as it celebrates 150 years. Plus, the Kansas House approves a bill that would limit abortions in certain scenarios. And sports gambling is one step closer to legalization in Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm Jalen Banks. We have severe thunderstorm watches in the area. We go straight to Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty.
Yeah, we've been trimming the watch back just a little bit as the front gets a little bit farther into our southern counties, but still for a couple more hours, Delaware, Benton, McDonald, Berry counties under a severe thunderstorm watch. Everybody else is just getting good old thunderstorms and very heavy amounts of rain, just kind of training right over the same area, right along I-44 and south. Some areas have picked up a ton of rain over the past few hours. We do still have some strong storms. Here's McDonald County down into Benton County, over into Newton County, and then this kind of trails back into Oklahoma. Here's Ottawa County. You can see just south of Grand Lake, pretty good thunderstorms. A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, very heavy amounts of rain are going to be sticking around as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. How much rain we're going to get and when's it going to move out? We're going to look at that here in a bit.
All right, we'll see you then. The Kansas House passed a bill that would further limit abortions in the state. It's based on the claim that abortion providers leave infants to die after they're born during certain types of abortions. The bill would declare that when there's a live birth during an abortion procedure, medical personnel must take the same steps to preserve the newborn's life as they would with other live births. Opponents say the narrative isn't true and that the bill is designed to give abortion care a negative public image. The bill now heads to the Kansas Senate. The Missouri House this week passed a bill to legalize sports gambling in the state. The bill would tax sports betting at 10%, with those tax revenues going to fund public education. It now heads to the Senate. In recent years, bills to allow sports betting have failed to make it to the governor's desk. A total of 33 states, including Kansas, now offer at least some form of sports wagering. Joplin turned 150 years old today, and the city celebrated by looking back on some of its history. Many historical figures have come through Joplin over its 150-year history, ranging from John F. Kennedy, Mickey Mantle, Langston Hughes, even Bonnie and Clyde. But today, the city chose to celebrate by looking back on historical artist Thomas Hart Benton and his works.
Thomas Hart Benton has kind of a bookend story. He began here as an artist, just as kind of a quirk of fate thing. 17 years old, he gets his first paying gig as an artist, and then comes back, old Tom Benton, and finishes a mural for the city of Joplin and tells the history of our community at the time of the period that he wanted to focus on.
The mural almost did not happen. It took some persuading.
Mary Curtis Wharton was a tireless leader of culture and art, a giant supporter of Joplin's 100-year celebration. She came up with the idea to ask the famous artist if he'd be interested in doing that. She was bold enough to do that, and lo and behold, he eventually agreed, and we're so glad she did because we can experience it now.
For some, his works are the source for telling the city's history.
Well, art has been a very, very important part of our community, telling the story. You know, we host visitors internationally here in the City Hall building, and we use the murals, we use the artwork to tell Joplin's history, tell Joplin's story. And it's just a good visual way to give people who are not from Joplin kind of a capstone to remember who we are.
Thomas Hart Benton is often referred to as Missouri's greatest 20th century painter. Also in celebration of Joplin's history, the city celebrated its spiritual heritage. The community event honoring Joplin's journey of faith featured presentations highlighting Joplin's yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It was joined with music including congregations singing hymns and choruses.
It is a multi-generational moment that we're in. People of every age, every expression of faith saying it's worth honoring and remembering that Jesus really is the reason for this moment. We're grateful for Joplin. And look how Jesus has been good to Joplin in so many amazing ways.
The city settled around 1840 by Tennessean John Seacox, who named the settlement after his friend, the Reverend Harris G. Joplin. The Tarzan Zerbini Circus has arrived in Webb City, Missouri for a series of performances. Not all of performers are human though, and that's put the circus at odds with an animal rights group. KOAM's Shagun Bomdali has more.
The Tarzan Zerbini Circus has arrived in Webb City. The circus features a variety of animals including tigers, elephants and horses. And of course, there will be human performers as well.
And we have an ensemble of artists from all over the world that are going to be appearing here. Some of them have appeared on America's Got Talent. Some really unique stuff.
For years, the animal rights group PETA has objected to the role of the animals in the circus, but the circus claims that PETA's complaints are unfounded.
PETA is urging the remaining circuses that still use animals, like Tarzan Zerbini Circus, to replace their outdated and cruel acts and retire those animals to reputable sanctuaries immediately.
Just saying things about cruelty, it's a little bit insulting because they're like part of our family. And it's like if you have children, you know how you treat your kids. We love them. We love our horses. We love our elephants.
Bauer says the animals are well taken care of.
Our Two Tails Ranch down in Ocala, Florida is a beautiful elephant sanctuary where the elephants are there pretty much the whole year. They only come out to do a couple shows and then they go right back down.
But Peter says otherwise.
Zoo called Two Tails Ranch in Florida, and that's operated by the Zerbini family. The animals there are used in the same ways that they are in the circus.
Bauer says he's inviting Peter to come down to see how the animals are being treated. Reporting in Webb City, Shagun Bomdali, KOAM News.
The Webb City performances are scheduled to run through April 2nd. A retirement party for a man who's been a big part of the Pittsburgh community for half a century. Ron Rhodes, owner of Ron's Supermarket, is stepping away from the job. Customers from over the years stopped by to wish him well. Rhodes has been in the Pittsburgh grocery business for 50 years, working first for his in-laws. He and his wife Barbara went on to open their own grocery store on South Ruse, then at the Meadowbrook Mall, and finally the one at the current location on Centennial. Rhodes has meant a lot to the community over the years, and he says the community has meant a lot to him.
My wife and I have been involved in the community from youth activities to different charitable organizations we belong to and supported and have supported us with their business. And probably the reason we've been here 50 years is because of the strength of our community.
Rhodes says his sons will continue to operate the store at its current location. The family also owns grocery stores in Chanute and Parsons, Kansas, and in Branson, Missouri. Coming up, another deadly disease making its way through the U.S.
The CDC is warning Americans about a potentially deadly fungus spreading at an alarming rate. I'm William Lajeunesse in Los Angeles. Details coming up.
A potentially deadly fungal infection is on the rise. The CDC is warning Americans about the rapidly spreading fungus as more and more healthcare workers are confronting the bug, largely resistant to many of the drugs typically used to treat it. Fox News senior national correspondent William Lajeunesse has details.
The CDC sounding an alarm about a potentially deadly fungus rapidly spreading across the country. Candida auris is a form of yeast that easily circulates and can infect wounds, ears, and the bloodstream. It can also live on the skin.
And we're mostly concerned because it's much more resistant to antifungal medications than other species.
The fungus primarily threatens those with weak immune systems or patients with existing illnesses in hospitals and nursing homes.
It likes to seek out patients who are already ill, and it generally spreads within institutions.
The CDC says up to 60% of those infected by the fungus died, though many were already seriously ill. Treatment is challenging, doctors say, because C. auris is drug resistant and doesn't just live in the human body, but on surfaces where it can spread to others.
That's a problem for hospitals because despite everything infection control personnel do in the hospital, trying to disinfect all those surfaces, this candida can persist and can infect another patient.
Cases tripled in the U.S. in the last 3 years and are now in more than half the states.
The COVID-19 pandemic likely contributed to more spread because of all the strain put on public health, and healthcare facilities.
While health officials are on high alert, the CDC reports no immediate risk to the general public.
Generally healthy people, we consider low risk for getting C. auris, and there's not really evidence that transmission is happening in the community.
Medical experts say early diagnosis and proper treatment is critical for those at high risk. For everyone else, doctors recommend regular hand washing to prevent the spread. In Los Angeles, William Lajeunesse, Fox News.
Staff COVID testing at U.S. nursing homes saved lives during the pandemic. That's the finding of a new study in the New England Journal of Medicine. Research shows weekly testing led to fewer infections and deaths among nursing home residents, even before vaccines were available. Doctors in Sweden say young people with anxiety and depression may benefit from medical sleep treatment. When melatonin was prescribed for sleep issues, researchers found children and teens, especially girls, were less likely to harm themselves. New research from the University of Birmingham shows climate change had a big impact on surgery rates in the UK last year. A fifth of UK hospitals were forced to cancel elective procedures during last summer's record heat wave, with some doctors performing surgeries earlier in the morning to beat the heat. Doug is back with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Columbus baseball enters the spring with high expectations after a state runner-up finish in 2022. We'll hear from the team in sports.
Well, of course, it turned out to be a mild, very windy day, and we've had the showers, we've had the thunderstorms over the past several hours, some very heavy amounts of rain in portions of the viewing area, mainly along and south of I-44. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. And due to the very heavy amounts of rain, look at all these green little polygons from Delaware, Benton, McDonald, Newton, Berry, Lawrence counties, all under flash flood warnings due to the heavy amounts of rain. Still our southern counties, severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. But all these showers and thunderstorms just kind of training right over the same spot. So that's why we're having flash flooding issues right along the I-44 corridor and south. And then we have this moisture extends all the way down into parts of Oklahoma, some bigger severe thunderstorms once you get down southern Oklahoma and northern parts of Texas. Back here at home, heaviest rain on the Missouri side now into northwestern Arkansas, also into northeastern parts of Oklahoma. We can zoom in, pretty good line here, moving into parts of Berry County, just outside of Cassville from Monette, Aurora. And then this stretches eastern parts of McDonald County, pretty intense, not severe, but pretty intense, all the way back into northern parts of Benton County. And of course, this stretches into Oklahoma, into Delaware County, and then it starts to lighten up just a little bit once you get north into Ottawa County. So a lot of showers, a lot of thunderstorms, but look at this. Here's a sharp cutoff. If you live north of this line, you haven't had any rain. Once you get into the green, at least a ½ an inch to an inch, but where you start seeing the lighter greens and the yellow, that's showing us over 3 inches of rain, even pockets of 5 inches of rain back through northeastern Oklahoma, and we're going to continue to get more. So the heaviest rain is right along the cold front. So look at this, 45 in Joplin, Fort Smith, almost 80 degrees. So that's where the severe weather is mainly going to stay as we go through the overnight hours. We're just going to pretty much from this point on just have good old thunderstorms until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Then the heaviest will start to press out. We'll get additional scattered showers, few random thunderstorms in here by morning again, heaviest along and south of I-44. We'll have on and off showers throughout the day, and then finally this whole storm system will start to rotate out of here by the time we head into tomorrow night, and we return with a little bit of sunshine once we get into Saturday, but could get a random shower late in the day. All right, additional rainfall on top of what we've already seen, about a ½ an inch in Joplin, about an inch in Neosho, about an inch in Pineville, so still very heavy amounts once you get along and south of I-44. Much cooler for us tomorrow. We only go into the mid-50s, clouds, showers sticking around. 56 for a high, 58 Saturday, 56 on Sunday, a few random showers over the weekend, but most of the weekend looks pretty good. Monday and Tuesday, not bad. Thunderstorms back in late Wednesday into Thursday. Some of those could be severe next week.
Yeah, I didn't get caught in anything severe, but I did get caught in the rain earlier. I had to go home and change, and yeah, it was an absolute mess. All right, thank you, Doug. Coming up, getting answers about TikTok.
The CEO of TikTok testifies here on Capitol Hill for the first time ever as there are more calls to ban the app. I'm Doug Luzader in Washington. We'll have more on the reaction coming up.
One of the most highly anticipated hearings of this Congress. TikTok CEO is making his case to Congress that his platform is good for the country. But lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are united on their criticism of the popular app. Fox's Doug Luzader reports from Washington.
The committee will come to order.
The TikTok CEO, Shou Chu, testifying before Congress for the first time. He's on a PR campaign of sorts to save his app from a nationwide ban and to highlight the good he says it's doing.
Our app is a place where people can be creative and curious.
I will remind you that making false or misleading statements to Congress is a federal crime.
Most lawmakers agree, though, that China could use the tech platform to spy on Americans. TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, has links to Chinese owners.
What about a commitment that says that you won't sell the data that you collect? Would you commit to that?
Your platform should be banned.
Congress is working on legislation to restrict the app that has 150 million monthly users in the U.S. A TikTok CEO says a ban isn't necessary because of the steps they're taking to protect users' data, using a third-party company based in the U.S.
I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data.
I find that actually preposterous.
And the other point of contention, the impact on young users hooked on the app.
Your algorithm can promote suicide, self-harm, and eating disorders to children.
We will keep safety, particularly for teenagers, as a top priority for us.
Chu faces a chorus of bipartisan critics on this House committee, but he does have at least one supporter outside of it.
Let's not be racist towards China and express our xenophobia when it comes to TikTok.
China says it opposes a forced sale of TikTok, something the Biden administration would like to see. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Canceling free trials and subscriptions can be a hassle, but proposed federal regulations could make the process a bit easier. A proposal by the Federal Trade Commission would ban companies from trying to retain customers through deceptive or burdensome tactics. Under the new rules, consumers would be allowed to cancel memberships and subscriptions the same way they signed up. Amazon's new payment system is at the palm of your hand. The company is rolling out palm scanning technology, also known as cashierless checkout, at 2 Panera locations in St. Louis. The Amazon One devices lets customers pay just by scanning their palms. It will also pull up customers' rewards accounts and order history. Up next, what scientists are learning about famed composer Beethoven after studying the DNA from a lock of his hair. Famed composer Ludwig van Beethoven saved locks of his hair so future scientists could study the ailments. And now, nearly 200 years after his death, they have done just that and gotten some surprising results. The composer famously had progressive hearing loss as well as gastrointestinal problems. Unfortunately, scientists were unable to find a definitive cause of those ailments, but they did discover a number of genetic risk factors for liver disease and evidence of hepatitis B. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. We'll learn about a pianist in Nevada, Missouri, who isn't letting his disability stop him from sharing his love of music. Plus,
a debate about the future of education in Washington. I'm Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. More on that story coming up.
A Nevada, Missouri man isn't letting his disability prevent him from sharing his musical abilities with the community. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
When words fail, music speaks. Dan Keller shares his love for music with the community, giving others a musical outlet.
You know, music is something that is a connection with me. I was born with this ability to do this kind of thing, and I think really it's just a matter of expressing myself a lot of times.
At the age of 5, Dan was able to play a song by listening to it. He knew music would be his talent to share with the world.
I would go to sleep hearing all these nice old songs that were out then, like songs by the 4 seasons. I get the chord structure in my mind first, kind of like laying the outsides and the foundation of a house is the way I look at it. You put up the structure first, and then the notes are all the rooms and the doors and the windows inside the house, and that's what you're filling in to get the song done.
Dan is blind, but that doesn't define him. His love for music does.
I don't think I'm really any special or different than anybody else, and I don't necessarily like to be like pigeonholed into that, well, he's just that way because he was born this way kind of thing.
While spending his retirement playing at the local senior center, he occasionally gives piano lessons. Dan is thankful for his leisure pace of living.
I'm retired, and I worked for the state of Missouri, for 35 years, and I was always scheduled then, and so now I sort of like being unscheduled. Everybody finds out a place where they're supposed to be, and this turned out to be my place.
Reporting in Nevada, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Dan also enjoys watching Pitt State's jazz band perform. Some warm weather and good food is sometimes all you need to have a good day. Lamar, Missouri today hosted their monthly picnic in the park food truck event. 8 food trucks were there today, ranging from tacos and barbecue to ice cream.
Just wanted the opportunity to bring more people to our park. Food trucks are something that's always fun. We can't do a huge thing like First Fridays or like Third Thursdays. We just, we're a small park, small town. We can just do a little bit.
Picnic in the Park is every 4th Thursday of each month until October, except for August. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are deliberating legislation, and Republicans say they will increase transparency in the classroom. Democrats argue it pits parents against the teachers. The so-called Parents' Bill of Rights Act has set off a fiery debate on the House floor. Fox News senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram takes a look.
We will not be silenced.
Raucous school board meetings prompted House Republicans to back up parents when it came to education.
After COVID, the veil has been lifted on a corrupted education system that has for too long been indoctrinating our children with racial division and hatred. Parents are now awakened.
GOP's Parents' Bill of Rights requires schools post curriculum and respect free speech at school board meetings.
There is no question that people have been chilled from speaking out against children's education.
Republicans highlighted a DOJ memo targeting parents for getting out of line at school board meetings. The bill's biggest flashpoint, a mandate that schools list books in libraries.
Another book, The Book is Gay, discusses orgies, kinky, and sex apps. Is this something you want your children to read?
Democrats accused Republicans of wanting to ban books about race.
The Life of Rosa Parks. This apparently is too woke by the Republican Party. I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism.
Democrats said Republicans used to want Washington out of education, but this bill converts Congress into a national school board.
This legislation is nothing more than an attempt to nationalize our education system.
The bill faces a Senate roadblock.
The House Republican school control bill is Orwellian to the core, and it will not see the light of day here in the Senate.
The bill makes good on the GOP's pledge to America for the midterms. The House votes on Friday. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Protests in Paris are raging for the ninth day after President Emmanuel Macron's decision to raise France's retirement age. The demonstrators striking and disrupting travel at airports and train stations. Unionized workers are also blocking oil and ports, expressing their outrage over the bill. Macron doubled down on the policy, saying it's necessary to keep the country's pension system without going into more debt. The bill is yet to formally become law, but Macron says it's expected to go into effect by the end of the year. A bit later, customer service is getting more digital.
Are you ready to press 1 to speak to an artificial intelligence program? I'm Eben Brown in Miami. I'll have that story straight ahead.
Well, it's definitely wet outside. Showers, thunderstorms across the region, even some heavy amounts of rain for portions of the four-state area. You can see just outside of Seneca, Missouri, definitely on the wet side. We still have a severe thunderstorm watch until 11 p.m. This is in our southern counties. It was a little bit farther north. We've been trimming it back as the colder air continues to rush in. But still, Delaware County, Benton County, McDonald County, Berry County, and then stretches just south of Springfield. Now you can see all these little green boxes. These are all flash flood warnings due to 2, 3, 4 inches of rain in spots, as these showers and thunderstorms have been training right over the same area, right along Interstate 44. And then the heaviest has been just on the south side of I-44. You can see this extends all the way down into Oklahoma. Some bigger storms, southwestern Oklahoma, and continuing to build once you get down into northern parts of Texas. All right, let's get a closer look. Heaviest rain now on the Missouri side, picking back up a little bit northeastern Oklahoma. Not much in southeastern Kansas, but pretty good cells here. This is Berry County, so through Cassville down to Eagle Rock. We can stretch a little bit farther west. Here's Mack County, and then right along the state line of Missouri and also Arkansas. This stretches into Delaware County and then continues back toward Veneta. If we look at the metro, it's finally trying to let up just a little bit, but we have plenty more rounds to go as we go through the overnight hours. Look at this sharp cutoff. So north of Nevada, north of Parsons, and really from Coffeyville northwest, nobody's had any rain. Then you have pockets of 3, 4, 5 inches where you see the orange. That's 5 inches of rain. That's why we've had the flash flooding issues. The reason it is right there is because that's where the front is. So all the showers and thunderstorms, they like to hang out where the cold front is. Let's go through the rest of the overnight hours tonight. Periods of showers and thunderstorms. Here's 1 a.m. They we had a little bit of a break, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Then it flares up again. By daybreak, showers, a few thunderstorms. Here's 9 o'clock in the morning. Again, you can see the same trend, heaviest along and south of I-44. Hit and miss showers sticking around. This is the noon hour tomorrow. And then still, we're going to have some showers on and off through the afternoon. Finally, by 7 or 8 o'clock, this mess gets out of here and we get a break. We clear out a little bit for us tomorrow night. Saturday, not a bad day. It's going to go into the mid-50s. We may get a random shower late in the day. All right, how much more additional rain are we going to get? It looks like it's still 1/2 inch to 1 inch along and south of I-44. Of course, lesser amounts once you get north of I-44. So still tomorrow, cloudy, kind of raw day. On and off showers throughout the day. Highs only into the mid-50s, 56, 58 Saturday. 56 Sunday, drying out Monday and Tuesday. Thunderstorms back in Wednesday and Thursday. And a severe threat returns next Thursday, so 1 week from today.
And luckily we have our severe weather special, Aaron, so
yeah,
with some potential severe weather, people can go and prep for it.
Yeah, get ready for April. It's going to rock and roll.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Doug. Don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, free of charge. It's available on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, the Kansas State Wildcats aim to move on to the Elite Eight, the first time in 5 years. Plus, the Colgan Panthers hit the field for their home opener against Independence. Jacob Leonard has those highlights and more next.
The Colgan Panthers play their baseball home opener today against the Independence Bulldogs. Now, Colgan is 0-1 to begin the season after falling on the road against Joplin earlier this week. So Colgan looking for their first win of the season on their home field today. The first inning, Gus Keller on the mound for the Panthers gets the strikeout. And check it out, on the pop-up behind the plate here, look at the concentration from Cooper Simmons. Off the glove, grabs it with the bare hand. Colgan out of the inning. Bottom of the first, Simmons goes to work at the plate and drills this one over the left fielder's head. Keller scores, RBI double for Simmons. Colgan gets 3 runs in the first inning. Second inning, they add to the lead. John Patusik through the left side for the RBI single. 3 more from the Panthers in the second to go up 6-0. At the top of the third, Independence gets on the board. Logan Wood rolls one into right. Hayden Smith scores. Kellen Lanning right behind him. Bulldogs cut the lead to 6-2. But the Panthers pull away from there. Kyson Bennett, RBI single into left, scores Simmons easily from third. Colgan gets their first win of the season, winning big over Independence 14-3. The Columbus High School baseball team is just a few days away from their first game of the season. Brock Baldridge catches up with the team as they aim to build off their best finish in program history.
In Columbus, Kansas, the Titans are back on the field, hungry for a state championship. Last season, the Titans fell just short of that goal, finishing as a 3A state runner-up. The Titans believe that their experience might finally get them over the top, according to their senior catcher, Landon Midget, who's excited about what this team offers this season.
We're bringing a lot of guys back from last year. We had a good run last year, so we're just trying to win another league title, get back to state, and hopefully finish the job there at state this year.
Columbus returns multiple All-State players, including reigning 3A Pitcher of the Year, Seth Stover. The Emporia State commit says the team has made some big strides during the offseason.
We didn't have a lot of seniors graduate last year, so we're all returning, and I think our outfield has improved tremendously through these practices and last season as well.
The Titans head coach Mick Tedlock was named 3A Coach of the Year last season. Coming off their first ever appearance at state, the Titans have high expectations, and Coach Tedlock says the group has the work ethic to make it happen.
The most rewarding was last year going to state tournament, because these guys work hard, and they come to practice and they do things right.
The Titans have set high expectations for themselves, but their confidence gives them that edge that the team needs in order to capture a Kansas State championship.
Go to work!
For KOAM News Now, I'm Brock Baldridge.
The Titans will open the season on Monday on the road against Labette County. Now, we have two regional teams still alive in the NCAA men's basketball tournament in the Kansas State Wildcats and Arkansas Razorbacks. Kansas State faces Michigan State tonight in their first Sweet 16 appearance since 2018. Now, this one is an instant classic. Game goes to overtime. K-State holds on to win it 98-93. Huge game for Marquise Noel. He gets 20 points and an NCAA tournament record 19 assists. Wildcats now move on to play in the Elite Eight on Saturday. As for the Arkansas Razorbacks, their night did not go as well. Arkansas gets rolled by UConn in the Sweet 16, 88-65. They shoot just 31% from the floor, while the Huskies were 57% from the field. Also out-rebounded Arkansas 43-31. That's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
Artificial intelligence is all the rage these days, and it's no secret some companies are looking to use the technology to increase productivity. Some wonder if it will come at the expense of human interactions. Fox's Eben Brown has more in this edition of Fox on Tech.
Let's face it, customer service can be a dull job, packed with number crunching and plenty of customer complaints, making it an ideal candidate for help from artificial intelligence. And innovation officers across the country say they're already integrating AI technology into their workflows.
I think many people are talking about it with ChatGPT and other things like that, as well to how we process customer data requests.
But that brings an added challenge to the table: how to replace humans with AI without making customers feel like they're doing business with a robot. Keith Farley, the director of innovation at insurance giant Aflac, says the company is working on delicately balancing their customers' experience, introducing AI agents, but also allowing customers to talk to humans during difficult tasks like filing claims or reporting a death in the family.
The first word in AI is artificial. And there's a time when people just want to deal with an authentic human experience. And so we just need to be careful as companies to make sure that we don't replace that human experience.
Ultimately, most experts say the market will determine how much AI is too much, and that process is already underway at Aflac, where new customer interfaces are now being implemented.
We now have it where we've got automations that can help us process claims faster at a higher quality, which means the customer gets their money faster.
And a new study finds that by 2025, 95% of customer interactions will be handled without a human. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
The dating scene has gotten so bad that some single men say they're turning to AI for help. A new report by the Daily Mail claims some men are using ChatGPT to create dating profiles and to respond to potential dates. They claim it makes them feel more confident, with some getting dates in less than an hour. Still, some people feel using AI to attract people is dishonest. Coming up, how some high school students in New Orleans solved the math theory unproven for 2,000 years. For 2,000 years, no one has been able to prove the Pythagorean theorem using trigonometry. Now, 2 high school students from New Orleans think they've cracked it. Reporter Sam Winstrom shows just how.
It takes a special kind of student to outsmart 2,000 years of mathematicians. At St. Mary's Academy, they have 2.
It's an unparalleled feeling, honestly, because there's just nothing like it, being able to do something that people don't think that young people can do.
Kelsey Johnson and Nakia Jackson just gave a presentation at the American Mathematical Society's annual Southeastern Conference. They say they've proven that Pythagoras' theorem can be proved without circular trigonometry, and it might not surprise you to hear that they were the only high schoolers in the room.
You don't see kids like us doing this. It's usually like you have to be an adult to do this.
Now, if you're anything like me, math is not your best subject, so we're both going to do a little refresher on this one. Now, it starts with trigonometry, and trigonometry is based on Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That all sounds familiar, right? Now, what they did, and that they said couldn't be done, is that Pythagorean theorem could not be proved using trigonometry. That is what is known as circular logic. An idea can't prove itself. But what Kelsey and Nakia did is that they were able to prove Pythagoras' theorem without using circular logic, but they did use trigonometry.
And if you're wondering how 2 high school seniors figured something like this out, well, it all starts with the teachers who challenged them to do the impossible.
Yeah, like our slogan is no excellence without hard labor, so they definitely push on that.
And we have really great teachers.
And even if you don't understand their math, it's easy to see that with the right push, students can do the impossible.
Good job, ladies. Good job. And that's our time for tonight, and thank you all so much for joining us. But before you go, we'll leave you with the video of a seal pup at a zoo in Australia. Be safe, and we'll do this all again tomorrow. See you then.